Hi guys, my name is Tigress. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you are already subscribed, and thank you if you are. Today we're going to be talking about the Farmer's Dog, which is a type of dog food that you can get delivered to your house that is a wet dog food. We started ordering from them in December of 2020 actually, so it's been like a year and a half, a little bit over. And obviously we like it if we've been ordering from it for that long, but I thought I would give you guys the specifics about what we really like about it, why we continue ordering from it, and also be honest about some of the cons that we have come up against using this product. Our dog is in the like 50-pound range, so she's not a very big dog. She's super cute. We don't know what kind of dog she is. She is a mutt. Basically, we started having problems with her being itchy, and she was so itchy to the point where she was, losing hair, creating bald spots, and sometimes creating wounds. And so we were taking her into the vet many times. She also was getting ear infection. She only got that a couple times, but both times, it's scary because it's right next to their brain. So we were taking her to the vet and obviously paying a lot of money, but her also being in pain. And the only conclusion we could come to as the source was her diet that kept coming up. So we figured that there had to be something she was allergic to, or maybe she was just sensitive. We weren't sure. So first we just started buying dog foods that were made for sensitive or allergy dogs that just have like really low ingredients, and those still made her break out. And we did do those guys for like a few months. Like we really gave these a long trial to see if they would work, because I do know about, in general, digestive systems, and I know that they take a while to clear out histamines and to get used to a new diet. So even with, I don't know a lot about dog digestive systems, but still I can imagine it would take a while until you would see results. So we did give those a good try. We didn't see her be any less itchy. So we were like, okay, let's go ahead and try. We looked online and we found these real food dog food companies that are made, with real food, with real beef, real carrots, and it's not dried or processed in that way. And we don't eat a lot of processed foods already as a family. We do choose to eat more organic, and so we did already feel like it felt right to also buy our dog the most best version of food. Like in some ways it didn't make sense that we were already like putting extra money and time into buying this high quality human food and then buying this dry food for our dog. Even though we were still trying to buy high quality, it still just like didn't feel right. So we were excited to try some of these newer fresh food dog food companies. We actually did try to have a raw food diet for a dog that we had 10 years ago, and nothing like these companies existed at that time, at least not to this degree of like being able to order online. And we would go to the store and order raw meat. We would grind it up ourselves, or we would feed it to our dog ourselves. And it was this whole process, and it was really, really, really expensive. So, again, I think that we were excited to, try having a raw food diet for our dog again, but this time have a lot more help. So we were excited coming into this company, or any company that had raw dog food, and we were excited that there were, options out there. So I went online and I Googled, raw food diet for dogs. I think that's what happened, or I saw it in an ad. If I'm honest, maybe I was seeing ads on Instagram. I don't really remember exactly, but I do remember I looked at 3 different dog food companies that deliver dog food to the house, and I added up which one would be the most affordable, and that at the end of the day was why we went with Farmer's Dog. It did seem like you couldn't really tell the quality of the food by looking at the website, so in some ways I don't feel like I was able to go by that. Like, you know, none of them were like, this is all organic, or like, you know, those sort of things. That's what I mean by quality. We just went by price, and it just was the best price, honestly. So that's why we chose Farmer's Dog. So let's get into the pros. So the pros was, honestly, we saw a drastic change pretty much immediately. I would say within the first few weeks, we saw her be less itchy, and to just see her skin just seemed less irritated and red. And like, you can kind of tell, like when you would touch her, like her skin would tense up a little bit, and she just seemed relaxed and happy, and she really liked her dog food. Like, she really liked it. So we did hear that chicken was a common irritant, so per our vet we did get the advice to just stay away from chicken. So we have only been buying her pork and beef this whole time, and we do think that's what it was. We do think that chicken was her irritant, and I don't know why some of those other things were still messing her up. So there's still the possibility that there's other things that she was allergic to, but because these raw foods are so little ingredients, though, I think that's why these helped her so quickly. So I do feel like our problem was solved pretty quickly. Like, she started eating this food and she seemed better, and we're so much happier about it. That's like the first and best pro, right? Is that problem was solved. It also felt really good feeding her those things. Like, I don't know, there is something about feeding your dog like the brown looking cereal that just feels not great. And I don't want to shame anybody, and I don't want anyone to feel shame saying that. I just want to be like, you know, honest and authentic. Like, in my experience, there is like that part that just, when you're sitting down eating like real food, it feels weird feeding your animal that you love and is a part of your family, those things. So when I am feeding her this food, and it is, we'll get into that later, what it looks like, but I feel good because I know I can see it. I'm just like, oh, this is meat and this is vegetables, and I can see it in there, and like, she's my kid, like that's my kid. So it feels good, like feeding my kid vegetables and like seeing that it's a whole meal, and that's just a whole thing in itself. So for me, that has been a really big pro, and I really do appreciate that. It's also really, really easy. It makes feeding her easy because she only eats twice a day. Obviously, this is like raw meat. It's not something you're just gonna leave sitting in the dish, right? So we feed her in the morning and we feed her at night, and she eats all of it right away, and she's excited about her meals when it's time to eat, but she doesn't seem super hungry between her meals either. So it definitely seems like a sufficient amount of food, which is great. But also it just makes it so much easier, because like, we feed her in the morning and then it's done, and then we feed her in the afternoon and it's done. And it actually makes it really easy when we go on trips and stuff and we need someone to watch her, because then they're able to just like come in and feed her at those times, and they know exactly, like, we feed her breakfast at 7:30 and dinner at 4:30, and though, you know, she knows what time to expect it, they know what time to come, and all of that jazz. Kitty. Okay, you just lay down over there then. That's the cat. It's also so easy when it comes to like buying dog food, because I don't have to buy like a huge bag when I'm at the store, and usually I go by myself, and I don't like having it on the cart and all of that. Like, I like to go to the store once a week, and so I like to get all my groceries, and getting all of that with a big old bag of dog food honestly is really complicated and hard. So it's nice that it just comes delivered to our door. They have been amazing about sending emails and texts about when I can expect it, because you don't want raw food, like raw meat sitting in front of your door. So I really appreciate that they give so much heads up. Cats. This is not about cats, this is about dogs. Why was she here? I don't know. They get so jealous. Anyway, I honestly can say too, we've had a really good experience with the delivery. Like, they have never been late. They have never not sent us enough food. Like, we've never run out of food before her next package. We always have a week's worth of food when the next package comes, which actually isn't that much. A week's worth is enough to like know that that I had some cushion until the next box came, but it's also not like a ton of food. Like, I feel like I'm overstocking in the product, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like they're sending the box at the perfect time, and I really appreciate that. And so I've never worried about Misty having enough food. My dog is named Misty. So the packaging for the food is also really, really cool, and I really appreciate it. So yeah, it comes right to your door. There is ice inside of the box, so there are things in there helping to keep the raw meat cool, and it is insulated with this really cool corn pads that you actually just like take out of the plastic, which is also biodegradable, and then you just wash the corn pads down the sink, and it is amazing. And then all you're left with as your trash is this box, obviously, that you can just flatten before putting in your recycling. So I really appreciate the packaging too. I think it's really thoughtful to have something that's so easy to get rid of, especially in a day and age now when we're receiving so many packages and we have like such an overload of boxes around our house. So it's nice that this was just, everything is super easy to get rid of. The whole process of like feeding her is really easy, except for, I will say, and this is where we get into some cons. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's get into some cons. Like, well, I really only have a few cons, but one of them is this probably is not the product for you. Up front and center, just gonna say it, this is not the product for you if you are vegetarian, vegan, or squeamish to those sort of things, because this is meat based, it is raw meat, and I am literally squeezing the raw meat out of the package for her, which I am not squeamish with. I work with raw meats all the time in my cooking and just making dinners and those sort of things. So I don't mind it. And I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I think, you know, you do have to be realistic with yourself and like your abilities. But it does look like this. It really is just raw meat and vegetables, which is awesome. The only thing too I would say is it's probably hard to travel with. We honestly haven't taken really long trips with our dog. We've gone on like weekend camping trips, and so we've been able to just, you know, going for 2 days, I think, is one thing because you can just have it in an ice chest. But if you're people who are like on the road and like travel a lot, maybe you don't always have access to a freezer and you're going to be gone for like more than 2 days, this is probably a hard product to travel with. Like, this probably isn't the ideal dog food. Dry dog food is actually brilliant for traveling, but like as a human, you're also going to be eating a lot of dry foods too. So like it makes sense, you know, it just, I don't know, for me, there's something that feels really nice and good about like feeding your dog what you're feeding, because again, like we just see her as such an equal and such a part of our family. So I just want to feed her what we eat. I will say that it is also pricey. I will say it is pricey. I'm not going to shy away from that. It definitely is. I know that not everyone's going to be able to afford this, and that is really sucky, you know, in many, many ways, but we can also look at our capitalistic system and break it down and know why many people can't afford this. And it's not necessarily the company's fault, nor is it the people's fault. It's just the state of where we are right now. So I just want to be upfront and transparent about that. It is, I pay $185 a month, and that is for 18 meals. For our dog, again, that's about 50 pounds. She's like a medium-sized dog. So that's almost a little under 200 a month, and they say that adds up to $528 a day. I don't know. For us, it has been worth it because of the amount, again, that we were putting into vet bills and again, just like the ease and time and receiving it and all of those things. So we've stuck with them because even though that is pricey, there's many ways for us that has like paid off and it's been worth it. So we like it and we're actually not complaining about the price. I will say another con is like at first it was really hard to like remember to take it out of the freezer. So these things do come frozen and you don't thaw them out all at once. You only thaw them out as like you're needing them. So like you have to like getting into the groove of like remembering to take one out the night before was hard for us, for both me and my husband. It took us both a minute to get in the groove of like being able to remember to take them out the night before. It's good now. We have a really solid, really nice process now, and it's been a long time since we've forgotten one. And even if we do, like, it actually, if you run one of the packages under running cold water for 15 minutes, that's really about it, because everything is broken down. It does thaw out okay, and sometimes we just say she's eating a popsicle. But it's only happened rarely, and it's not what I recommend. Don't do it. I mean, she probably doesn't love it. I don't think any of us would love eating our food frozen like that either, so I'm not forgetting that, and it's definitely not recommended. I'm just saying that like we did find ways to work around it, and it wasn't like a oh my god she can't eat situation. Also, one last con is it does take up, I will say it does take up a substantial amount of space in the actual freezer. Now, we don't use the freezer for a ton of stuff, at least not right now as our family grows. That might change. So if you're someone who does use your freezer a lot, like that might be something you come up against. For some people, they might want to invest in like a small mini freezer just for the dog food or something. I feel like that would be kind of extreme, but also if you have a big family, lots of people have second freezers, so is it really that weird? I don't know. But that hasn't been that much of an issue because we just don't buy a lot of frozen foods. We do buy some, but for the most part, we try to stick with fresh foods, and I try not to buy too much meat, and just in general, for some reason, we've just never really used our freezer too much. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. All in all, I will say that I love, and we love as a family, to use this company and this brand, and it's really worked out for us, and we've seen nothing but good results with our dog, and we've had nothing but good results with shipment, quality, and all of it. So I do recommend them if you feel like this is in your budget and you feel like this is something you're looking for and you feel like it would be worth it to you. I really, really, really do recommend it. I am going to leave a link below. This isn't like sponsored or an ad or anything, but I think the link I'm leaving gets you some sort of deal the first time you order or something. Although I think you can get that without the link too, obviously. I think you can just go to their website and they offer like a deal the first time you order. So just, again, being transparent with that. So yeah, check it out, guys. And I really, really hope this was helpful. I know that I personally like to look up YouTube reviews before I buy something because it feels so good to hear something from an actual user. So I do hope this was helpful, and yeah, check out the rest of my videos. I make tons of videos. I have some reviews, but I also just do weekly vlogs, and I would love it if you came and joined the family. That was weird. I don't know. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Bye. See you soon.